if you guys change your haircutting system every single time a different hair texture or a different fade request sits in your chair, this is going to be a really important video for you guys, because with this channel, I show you guys how you can use the same exact haircutting system to accomplish different haircuts. And in today's video, we're gonna be doing a low taper on my client. And this is a super popular style that a lot of young guys are getting these days. They're letting their curls grow out. They wanna leave the fringe nice and full, just a really bulky haircut. But this is super important for back to school as well. This whole season, you know, everyone's getting back in school. This is the style that everybody's going for these days, guys. So, you know, let's lock in with the tutorial, man. And the first things first, the base guideline that you start your tapers with, I think it's so important that you do it with the clipper all the way closed. You definitely can do it with the trimmers, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it will give you a precise guideline, but you'll see towards the end of this video how easily the clipper closed line blends out. Yeah, it definitely has helped me a lot with my efficiency. So your primary guideline should be clipper all the way closed. And the secondary guideline that we're gonna use is with the half guard all the way closed. Because going in with the half guard closed, again, it's the same concept. Like, there's nothing wrong with going in with the clipper all the way open for this secondary guideline, like how many YouTubers will teach you how to do. But again, I find it much easier to fade from guard to guard than it is to fade from blade to guard, if that makes sense. And you'll see this come together. You'll see it start to make sense as we work our way through this blend. Just make sure that this secondary guideline, you don't compress too much. You want there to be some spread here, because this is the portion that's going to give you the most gradients, right? So your blend can really have that pop out look, a really crispy look, you know. So go ahead and set this secondary guideline in here with the half guard all the way closed. So now you've already set your primary and your secondary guideline. Now what we're gonna do, we're not gonna be setting a line in here. What I wanna do is just slowly taper down the bulk, right? I wanna start working on the transition from where the hair is gonna be really short to where the hair is gonna be really long. And personally, and you'll see me do this with multiple different hairstyles, I'll take the number 4 and I'll be starting with pressure at the bottom, and I'll float my way softly up and off the head. I'll use the shape of the head as a ramp, right? So I could launch this clipper up and off the head. Now you could see how it's helping me build that shape. It's not messing with the darkness, right? Because I still need that darkness there. I need to play with that gradient so I could create a desirable looking blend, right? So play with this number 4 guard here, pressure at the bottom, float your way up and off the head, because this is gonna help you create shape and debulk at the same time. Just so that way you can have a little more space to play with the darkness, to play with the gradients, to make the blend look how you want. So all the tools that we're going to be using in today's video, they're all going to be in the tag section down below. If you guys not only want to use the steps that I use to cut hair, but also to use the tools that I'm using, right? This Tomb 45 clipper set, man, it came out in February of this year, and they haven't failed me yet. It's actually one of the strongest clippers that Babyliss has ever put out. I think the numbers would check that out too, right? Like if you look on the box, it has the highest RPMs really from any clipper that they've ever put out. So it hits really well. Sometimes I've noticed that, like, because I'll work the booth with Tomb 45 every once in a while and help people like see these clippers, right? Hold them in their hand for the first time. And it's interesting how people will think that the clipper is actually weaker while they hold it. But what it is that the body is built so well that it actually contains the vibration. So, you know, if you hold like the Skeleton FX, for example, you turn it on and you feel it buzzing in your hand, so it feels really powerful. That just means that it had a lower quality build than this trimmer, for example, right? Because it has more power, but it's just like the body is built so much better, so it doesn't feel like it's buzzing, making your hand go numb after a while. So it's pretty dope, man. I've been using it since February. I love the wireless charging aspect, so I have never had a situation where the clipper died on me, and I've never had a situation where the clipper got hot either because of the MIM blade. Like, it's super dope. If y'all want to check it out, man, hit the product section down below. And yeah, you'll find it all there, everything that we use in today's video. And it's a great way to support the channel if you're already looking for a clipper like this. So notice here, guys, we're using the 1.5 guard now. We've already cleared out the bulk, right? So now I can take this 1.5 guard and I'm using the same motion. I'm applying pressure at the very bottom and I'm gonna softly float my way up into the weight. This 1.5 guard is going to let us now kind of start to play with the darkness, right? Because to have a desirable looking blend, you're going to want to have the perfect transition from bald to light to dark. Start with this all the way open, and it's going to leave the hair a little bit darker. After you feel like you've already removed everything you need to, now you see I closed my lever, and now I could start just working incrementally lower than I just was. It's really going to be the same motions over and over, guys. Pressure at the bottom and float your way up, right? Keep playing with the lever, hit it a little bit open, a little bit closed. The general rule of thumb is anytime, the higher that you are, the more open you're going to want your lever, and the lower that you are in the blend, the more closed you are. So let's watch this here again. I'm starting open, right? And then I follow up closed because I'm going to work a little bit lower. You see how I needed to go a little higher? That's why I opened it. And now I'm working low again, so that's why I have it closed. It's going to be a minute before, if you're brand new to this, it's going to be a while before you become fully comfortable with the concept of open, closed, how high to go, how low to go. But I like showing you guys in real time, like real barbershop time. I have 30-minute appointment slots I have to keep up with. So I want to show y'all what it's like really in the barbershop to do this. So again, we're gonna run back the same motion all over again, but on the back of the head, and that's the thing, guys. Like, it's literally, I use the same steps, whether it's gonna be a low fade, a mid fade, a high fade, or even a taper. The process is always gonna be clipper closed, half guard closed, number 4 all the way up to debulk, right? Debulk the sides into whatever top you want, and then you can use the 1.5 to float your way all the way up into the bulk up on top. So it's really cool to see like how this system has helped me become more efficient in the barbershop, and just help me fill up my schedule. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about filling your schedule in a little bit, but efficiency, having that skill, being able to knock out somebody's haircut in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, still at a high level of quality, is such an important skill to have. Now, look, we've already dealt with the 4 guard. We dealt with the 1.5 guard. Now I'm using the half guard. Remember, this is the first guard that we ever use in this system, right? I have the lever all the way open, and I'm going to slowly, again, same motion, right? Pressure at the bottom, float your way up. We are going to float our way up into where we were trimming with the 1.5. Start with it all the way open, and then you could work halfway closed, and then you can work your way all the way closed to where it will perfectly match with that secondary guideline you already put in. So if you can play right here in that pocket, just make sure that you don't go too high, don't remove too much hair. Take your time, slowly float your way up into the darkness. This gradients here is really what's going to help make or break the blend. And if you're not fully comfortable with this yet, guys, and skipping guards and all that, you can use some of the guards in between that we've skipped. You can use the 3, the 2, the 1.5, the 1, the half. I just want to show you the most efficient way to get this done, right? I cut a lot of people in a day, and this is what helps me. So I'm just trying to help you guys learn what it took me years to learn. Leave a comment down below if efficiency is something that you've been struggling with. If you still take an hour to do a haircut, let me know. I want to know what you guys are struggling with to make sure I'm giving you tailored content that fits your needs. So we're going to keep doing the same process, guys. We already did it for the right side. We're doing it now for the left, and then we're going to do it for the back taper. So like I said, man, efficiency is just one part of this business, right? Being able to fit a certain number of people in a work day, right? To be able to scale your schedule. But then the next part of it is, how do you even get enough people in the door to be able to fill your schedule, right? I used to work in a suite, and it was just me, and I didn't have anyone else helping me with marketing, right? So naturally, that means that I have less opportunities for reviews, right? Because it's just me. But when I joined a proper barbershop, like y'all can see in the background here, man, like headlines, the standard for our shops is at least like 10, 12 barbers, and we want to keep everybody busy because all of us contribute to the reviews together. So leave a comment down below, man. Do you think that those of you who may be working in a suite, or are you in a barbershop thinking about going to a suite, do you think that collaborative work like this, working together in a barbershop to generate more traffic, do you think that's something that could help or hurt your business? Because I know for me, my income took a huge leap when I came back into the barbershop world. And that's one of those things that they taught me was so important when I joined the Six Figure Barber Mentorship. You know, small, simple things, guys, that you're like, man, I could have been doing this the whole time, but you don't have an accountability coach. You don't have a program to follow, and all these thoughts that oh, I should do this or should I do that first? What is the best way to grow my business? The blueprint is all set up in the Six Figure Barber Mentorship, and the link is always in the description of my videos if you guys want to take a look at our program. And you're gonna see wins within the first month of joining our program. You know, we have this thing called the 30-day challenge that is gonna make sure you make way more than your investment going into the program, man. So check it out. I'll actually be one of your coaches along with Basio and the rest of our Tomb 45 team. You know, we do live calls every single week to help you stay on track for your business. But look, guys, here, we're back now to this very bottom line. Y'all remember how we started this taper with the clipper all the way closed? If you noticed, and you're gonna see it again for the back taper and the other side taper, I'm gonna return to that clipper all the way closed and break through that line. See, I used to have a fear of, man, I'm gonna take this fade way too high now at this point, now that I have to blend out the very bottom bald line. But and it's true, you do have to go higher, but at the same time, please understand, you're gonna go longer, right? So if I start with the clipper all the way closed at the bottom, you see how I hit this one notch, so I notched it a little bit open, and now I can go a little bit higher, right? And look, next notch, I will open it up a little bit more, and I'm going a little bit higher. So every time you go higher, your notch gets longer. If that makes sense, man. I hope that makes sense. Leave a comment down below if that kind of helps calm your anxiety about not taking the fade too high, right? Yes, you are gonna have to go higher, but at the same time, you're going longer. The hair is getting longer with every stroke. So definitely keep that in mind, guys. Let me know if that helps. Now that we're done with the right side and the left side, now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing again for the back taper, working our way from the very bottom and floating our way up. And the most exciting part of this is gonna be the lineup. This next part right here is just where it all comes together, man. Just everything becomes worth it. Now notice we've done everything we need to with the clippers. Now at this point, all we have to do is follow up with our trimmers and take care of everything we need to now while we have the trimmers in our hand. So you can see here, the reason why we started with the clipper closed, look at how easy the very bottom of this taper blends out. Since you leave that very little bit of bulk at the bottom, you know, for last, it's just gonna come out so effortless. Now, obviously, when you do like a higher fade, or you know, you're gonna see a lot more exaggerated, that bulk that's left at the very bottom. But like I said, the same principles apply no matter if it's a taper or a fade or any of that, right? Remove the bulk right here with your trimmers. And then if your client's skin can handle it, you can go ahead and follow up with the shavers. Now, when it comes to the lineup too, guys, this is what's gonna make your taper pop, man. Like, go ahead and punch that line in right there. And you don't wanna leave it too wide to where you can't really appreciate the gradients, right? You do have to remove a little bit of hair, but don't go and push it in too far. I would rather you start very conservatively. Just cut off the very tips of the edge and see how that looks, you know, and only remove as necessary. But when you're running this trimmer all the way up and around the ear, you're just gonna wanna make sure that you keep it as close as possible to where the natural growth starts, right? Because if you go and push that line too far, it's just gonna make it's gonna throw off the whole shape, and the grow back is gonna be terrible. But just make sure that, you know, you're not pushing it too deep, and wrap that thing around the ear, you know, because it is important to make this line defined, because it really is like putting the frame on the picture. It's what's gonna make the whole blend pop. And same thing right here for the C-cup. Definitely make sure you comb the hair out, and you know, you just want to catch that natural curve, right? For the most part, you're cutting like hangover hair, right? Hair that's laying down, that's growing out from the root. But you don't want to push anything too far deep, right? But just make sure that you get a nice defined curvature right there. That's the best thing that could complement a C-cup. And then the thing is too, you don't want to remove too much hair, because like I said, the grow back looks terrible, and you know, You don't only want to cut their hair according to what it looks like today. You're really cutting their hair so that way a week from now they can get a compliment from their friends, be like, yo, that haircut looks fire. That's really what the biggest difference is from, like mediocre barbering to advanced barbering, is you want to make sure that the haircut grows out well. So let me know if you've ever thought about that too, because obviously we all want our clients to look super crispy right now leaving the chair, but is it worth it if they're gonna look stupid a week from now? So let me know what you guys have thought about this tutorial so far, man. If it helped you to prepare for this wave of back to school haircuts that we're gonna be getting, because I have a feeling we're gonna be getting a lot of requests for this style this year, man. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys thought. And if you guys are interested in further business coaching, man, let me know, because I will be one of your coaches along with Basio and the rest of the Toon 45 team to help you guys build your businesses well past 6 figures. That link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Thank you for subscribing.